So we've got more information on Assassin's Creed Mirage gameplay related to its more number of press articles and our own interview with the director June Luke Sola. And in this video, we're going to focus on the stealth aspects of the game, the mention of social stealth and crowd blending, the setting of Baghdad, and more information about its districts and the surrounding areas. Some information about Alamut that might be both good and bad, depending on your hype and expectations about the game. As usual, there's quite a lot to discuss, so no time to waste. Let's dive into the recent Assassin's Creed Mirage news. So we do know that while playing as Basim on his path as Hidden One and then as a Master Assassin or Master Hidden player, we will be using a number of what the devs in multiple interviews seem to be calling assassin tools, which are now confirmed to be the tools used in the stealth sequences to be more sneaky and to better assassinate the various enemies without being spotted. As of now, the devs have confirmed five of them, some of which have appeared in the trailer of Assassin's Creed Mirage as part of the history of Assassin's Creed, and they're going to be the throwing knives used to attack and hopefully kill guards from a distance, the smoke bombs, which are apparently going to be read this time and are going to stop the guards from what they're doing, allowing our main character to assassinate them. The blue pipe, for which we currently don't know the effects, but past Assassin's Creed games have blow pipes that could cause guards to fall asleep or go berserk. Then we have the so-called mine, which seems to be placed on the ground, seemingly will be activated from a distance, or when guards get close to it and it looks like it's going to emit a poison gas. And finally, we have the noisemaker, which I imagine will work as a distance destruction tool, kind of like cherry bombs in Assassin's Creed Unity. All of those tools will be upgradable, and according to the devs, players will be able to change their effects during the playthrough. More specifically, the game will feature a quote unquote tree. I guess it's kind of like a skill tree where players will be able to choose the various different effects of the tools and weapons and global reports that in order to progress in you have to upgrade the tools. Players will have to collect specific resources. They did mention that some RPG and progression elements would have stayed in Mirage, but the introduction of the tools will not be only the element added to improve the departments. For example, in an interview, the Game Rent creative director Stephen Budden went more in detail for the concerns that the detection system where AI has seemingly been improved. Stealth will be revamped with three different levels of alarm states of the guards, and the AI first will be in the suspicion phase, which will be seemingly just be a warning state. The players can effortlessly avoid them. Then there will be a state where the NPC or guards will analyze the scenario and the surroundings around them. And then if the player gets spotted, they will finally get to the third state where they will attack, passing the infiltration phases. You should also feel more satisfied thanks to an improved enemy AI, which is supposedly going to follow more elaborate paths. Coupled with this, the eagle vision of the guards and have been fine-tuned. The group of guards will move within environment with an improved AI, as we already mentioned in our video. Players will now be able to better understand which guards are hunting them and how aware they are of the presence. Moreover, according to every eye and game brand, there will be interactions between the AI, meaning that the detection state was spread between various AI or guards, and there will be different enemy archetypes that will interact differently with those three-stage behavior. For example, as we have seen already in some of the past games, based on some states where some guards were able to use their own pollen reinforcements. GameSpot reports that Mirage will also put a greater emphasis on parkour abilities and social stealth, which I believe be first confirmation of social stealth actually being in the game. In an interview with the Game Rant through creative directors, Stephen added even more by stating that the game will have crowd blending and will have a wanted system within Baghdad where Basim could be chased within the city, and this could cause crowds to recognize Basim if he's wanted. Moreover, geek culture is reported that through wanted system, the whole city can be aware of Basim's presence. So depending on the factions and affiliations, which are also going to be back in the game, these factions or affiliations can either be helpful as the player is fleeing or an additional obstacle to overcome. Speaking of the crowds in the game, the dev did mention in the developer trailer breakdown that a lot of effort was spent to bring back dense crowds. This was the case in original Assassin's Creed games, more specifically while speaking to every eye dot. It is also said by GameRant that the teams will be trying to have density of buildings and crowds in Baghdad that is similar to that of Assassin's Creed Unity, regardless of the platform being played on. It's old gen or current gen, some big talk by the team here. I really do hope the team will live up to the hype that they themselves are creating. After all, they wouldn't push for comparisons with a game that has the highest density of crowds in the franchise. If they weren't actually gunning it right, uh, so we'll have more depth in the past games, but it looks like its features are not going to be the only reason they're supposed to push players to engage with it. In fact, it looks like players will be incentivized to engage with it by making another main gameplay system much harder. In an interview with the GameSpot, art director Sean stated that Basim won't be so much of a fighter as Eivor, and combat will definitely be last resort in Mirage. It's going to be very difficult in itself, while Basim also won't be able to take as many hits as Eivor, prompting a more stealthy approach to things, which should be moving fast, killing then vanish. So yeah, there's street improvements, but the fact that the difficulty of supposedly pushed towards the direction, and to be honest, I think that's an interesting, good idea mm, uh, to call back to Assassin's Creed 1, and also because this way self-play players will enjoy having the game more developed towards their liking, while players that are more inclined towards combat should be able to find a proper challenge in front of them. Of course, all of this seems pretty good on paper, but we're going to have to see if the execution and especially the balance of these systems is actually going to work in the game itself, of course. Moving on, we also have a bunch of news and statements on the main setting of the game, which is, of course, the city of Baghdad. Let's introduce the topic by sharing a new bit from our interview with Sean. First, no choice, we're supposed to talk about Basim at a younger age and his backstory. It was stated that he came from Samarra, which is a city north of Baghdad, and Batum somewhere also like that. So we're just like, okay, what is Samarra looking like? And every time we're documenting about the place, uh, things from back there popping up. You know that is in the documentation. So there are four districts of Baghdad, as we know, before choosing Baghdad. So we do know about Baghdad and Mirage Pack that will have four districts. The first one is Karak, the industrial district featuring the bazaar. Then we have the Round City, which is going to be located at the center of Baghdad and is going to be the rich district house. And then we have the Caliphal Palace and the illustration of the city, which you can see both around the city and the palace. So this one is released. Uh, we are going to have screenshots of the map soon enough. And let's talk about the size of the game. So the game will be the size of Assassin's Creed Rogue or Revelations, with Baghdad City being indeed as dense as Unity's Paris. Uh, Also added that there will be some wilderness about around Baghdad, which wasn't in the case of Paris. And he also stated that there are some actual locations in this wilderness surrounding Baghdad, stating that players can go outside the city and see some nice places. Of course, we also know that beyond the main city of Baghdad and its surroundings, the game will feature Alamut, the Hidden One's fortress that is currently being built during the events of the game. So, according to an interview with Arab Hardware with the creative director Stephen, players will not be able to enter or visit Alamut Fortress in the game, which honestly is not amazing having a map about Alamut, about the legendary fortress, and not being able to visit it even if it's under construction. The team was not able to make it in time with short and strict development timelines, but still, that's pretty underwhelming nonetheless. Even if the players can't access the fortress itself, they will be able to explore some of the assassin encampments located around. So, the area, the map will only have the castle in the background, but there will be some activities that the assassins are going to do in the surrounding area, such as training and equipment trading. Nonetheless, it looks like Alamut is going to be important for the story. It's there. The initiation will take place, and it's likely that that's where
Thank you, my friend.
Boston lingering mental issues and internal conflict are going to
Return the favor.
grow exponentially. If you'd like to know more about Basim's backstory, his internal issues with Mirage, and the figure of the
For
Jinn,
some years ago,
we have another
I
video
had a
for you.
contract
Thank you for watching,
called
and I'll see you in our next video.
that seemed an unusual commission. I confess curiosity got the better of me. Recently, I started to look into Lafreniere's background, and what I discovered, you wouldn't believe it.
He's a Templar. Is that what you found?
Yes, I believe so. I didn't know how to take it. In any case, I was careless, and Lafreniere found out about my schemes. Kept me under house arrest ever since. I do as he bids. Weapons mostly.
Where can I find him?
Well, Lafreniere is a very difficult man to pin down. Not long ago, I overheard him talking about protecting the shipments at La Halle. Sounded ominous, whatever he meant. May I ask, why are you so interested in him?
He killed someone very dear to me. I want to know why.
I see. You have my sympathies.
They will come looking for you again. Make yourself scarce.
Yes, I believe I might.